Nappy hour. Nappy hour. Nappy hour.
Ow! Oh, really was not. The beans were not beaning just then. I just sat really hard on the hardwood floor. Did a right old thump. Welcome to the Nappy Hour, guys, the place where you tell me all about your fucked up lives and I tell everyone, just like real friends. So open your ears and let me fill them full of shit. Advice. Except this week is going to be a little bit different. You're not telling me about your shit lives. I'm actually going to tell you about my shit life. Well, I mean, I'm not going to tell you about my shit life. I have a great life, but we're doing a Q&A, all right? It was last week where I was talking in an episode about the weird meals that I would make when I was a kid. And I went on Instagram and I asked you guys about your weird meals and some weird meals, your weird meals. By the looks of some of these meals, some of you are not well in the head. So let's have a little read through, shall we? This girl says she ate sugar on toast with butter. I mean, that is technically a pastry. So I could get on board with that. It's just, it feels too naughty for me. You know, quite often when I've been baking and I've eaten the butter and the sugar, I've thought to myself, you know what? I could spread this shit on some toast, but I never did. And you did, so good for you. This girl says fish sticks with butter. Darling, no, you are worth more than that. All right, be kind to yourself. Spaghetti with tinned tomatoes, cheese sauce, peas, and soy sauce was a family special. I don't know if I call that a special, more like a travesty. Like if you said, oh, my family, it's Friday night and we're eating the family special tonight, I'm not rushing over. This girl says jam and Rice Krispies toasted sandwich. That is a pregnancy craving if I've ever heard one. Like what gave you the idea to put jam and Rice Krispies in toast it and eat it? To be fair, that is a textural sensation. I can just imagine it now. The softness of the jam, probably the coldness as well, with the warm toast and the crispity crunchy, with the Rice Krispies, the crack, snapple and pop. You know, don't knock it till you try it. That's what they say. This girl said, I would dip original chips in brown vinegar and put them in a white bread buttered sandwich. Oh, my snack. Let me just tell you before I go on. So I would get a plate. And this is always after dinner. So it's like, you know, I have my sausages and chips. This is afters. So I would get my plate and I would cover it in salt. And then I would cover it in vinegar and I would just straight up lick that shit up like a puppy. And then my mum would come and say, you know, vinegar drives your blood. And I think, that sounds horrendous. Can I die from it? If not, then mum, out the way, pass that vinegar, bitch, and get out of the fucking way. This girl says mashed banana with crumbled digestive biscuits. That is a textural nightmare. What age were you eating that? I think anyone older than six to 8 months is actually enjoying mashed banana. I think you have regressed and you need to go to therapy. Toast soldiers, one on top of the other with ketchup in between. You know, I will get on board with anything in soldier form. It's like afternoon tea, but budget. There's nothing more fun than finger sandwiches. I could eat mountains and mountains and mountains of finger sandwiches. It's something about like cutting the crust off, which just makes it feel like it doesn't count. Do you know what I mean? Like the crusts aren't there, so I'm basically just eating air. Open a packet of crisps flat, add cubes of cheese and salad cream. Listen, if salad cream is your choice of condiment, I just feel like we've got bigger issues here. Salad cream is like the doggiest condiment you could ever imagine. When someone's like, ask me, oh, do you have salad cream in the house? I just think, you know, you need to leave my house right now. I don't know what it is about salad cream. It's the fact that it's called salad cream, like you need cream on your salad. I don't know, it just really gives me out. Dry instant ramen, put the seasoning on it and crush it and shake it. It was our dance snack. Why not just like a banana or something? That's what the rest of us are eating in between our dance lessons. To be fair, this does sound like Bombay mix. And I can get on board with the Bombay mix. There's loads more sugar sandwiches. You guys are loving the bread the butter and the sugar. This is why there's no fucking NHS dentist. This is why the wait list is 3 years long, because this was what you were eating when you were kids. Oh my God, this girl's putting them in the microwave. Okay, so you've made your sugar and butter sandwich, then you put that sandwich in the microwave, and I guess the sugar melts, it crystallizes. Dipping bread in raw scrambled eggs. Are you trying to kill yourself? Do you hate yourself? What's going on? What's an awful way to die? You're not scared of salmonella? White rice with grated cheese on top. To be fair, I used to eat this every day at school. That was my school meal. White rice with cheese on top. I used to love it, and I could still get on board with it now. If there's ever like a bit of rice left over in the pan and there's some cheese in the fridge, I'm sprinkling it on every single time. If you've never had cheese on rice, come on, what are you doing with your life? Student pizza, toast, tomato puree, cheese, and mixed herbs. To be fair, will you judge me if I actually had this last week? But let me just say, the bread was homemade, the tomato puree was also homemade, all right? And the cheese was mozzarella. So that fucking banged. Made biscuits out of rolled out mixed melted Mars bars and crushed chocolate digestives. You could sell that. Get on Deliveroo right now. Set yourself up a little bakery shop, yeah? I would pay some good money for mashed up fucking Mars bars with digestives crushed into them. That sounds amazing. Marmite and cucumber sandwiches. My honey, listen. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Cucumber on the side of the Marmite sandwich, beautiful, delicious. Little snack afterwards, cleanse your palate. Marmite sandwiches, the best invention to ever have lived. Do not mess with the Marmite sandwich. Unless you're adding cheese into it, that's the only thing you're allowed to add into a Marmite sandwich, then just leave it the fuck alone. This girl says, I'm Aussie, so microwave Milo mud cakes. Milo mud cakes? I'm gonna have to Google this. What the fuck is a Milo mud cake? Oh, so it's like a powder. The fuck is, so Milo, Milo, what is it? It is like a powdered chocolate drink, like a hot chocolate, and then you make it into a cake in the microwave. To be fair, that sounds amazing. It reminds me of, like the chocolate fondant microwave puddings that you get from, is it Goo? Oh, so good. I hope since you've had children that you've learned to cook. I certainly have. I know you guys are probably judging me for my ketchup noodles. It's not much better than any of this. I don't know why I was shitting on the sugar sandwiches. At least you guys are basically baking. What was I doing? Shoving ketchup on wet, lukewarm noodles. You're better than me. Right, we're going to get straight into this questionnaire, guys. Questionnaire! It's not a questionnaire. It's a Q&A.
Next one.
What's something you swore you'd never do as a parent, but now do all the time? Right. So I don't want to say I do it all the time, because I don't want you guys to judge me. Because I cook from scratch. Most of the meals in my house I cook from scratch. So don't fucking come for me, all right? But processed food was something that I was really, really against when Woody was a little babby. I was really headstrong on like wanting to make all my own foods. He's not going to touch anything from a packet. Blah, 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 blah. That wasn't until I realised that to his bones, he is just a fussy kid. And I was humbled. I was humbled to the motherfucking ground. So very quickly I realised, like, if it comes from my hands and my love and my kitchen, he doesn't want anything to do with it. The moment I get it out of a packet, it could be the same fucking thing. I get it out of a packet and he loves it. Oh my goodness, he's loving these organics flapjack things. Let me make my own. I made them and he rejects them. Those Graze chocolate like flapjack things? He was loving them. So I thought, okay, well, let me stop buying hundreds of pounds worth of Graze snacks and let me just make my own Graze snacks. So I looked at the recipe, I looked at the ingredients, I made them myself with my bare hands. I made these flapjacks. He rejected them. So, it's got to the point now where I go for the easy life with his dinners. I know he likes salmon. I know he likes certain vegetables. He eats very plain foods. And when we're out and about, I don't give a shit. If it comes from a packet, just fucking have it. I don't care. Just eat. Even like a cheese toastie. This kid, right? He loves toast. He loves cheese. He loves bread. He loves butter. And so I'm making cheese toasties for the family. And I say to him, do you want yours warm or cold? And he's like, I want it warm. So I'm like, okay, sure. Like, he knows he knows what's in it. He's watching me make it. I'm making this cheese toasty. We sit down to eat it, and he's like, nah. I say, it's just cheese and bread. He's like, no, looks weird. It's fucking melted cheese, bro. Just because the cheese looks slightly different, he refuses to eat it. Even though he watched me make it, he told me that he wanted it melted. So yeah, from now on, I just stick to what I know. Occasionally I throw in something new, occasionally, but pretty much I just stick to what I know. And screen time. I was quite judgmental of people using screen time. I was one of those parents. I was one of those people. But now, like, my kid fucking loves My Little Pony. So every now and then, he doesn't watch it too much, but every now and then we stick on a little episode of My Little Pony for him when I need to get something done, you know? Pre-having a child, I was very much like, listen, you stay in your bed, I stay in mine, I'll see you in the morning, don't fucking disturb me. I just thought I'd be quite like hard-nosed about it. If you let them in your bed, then you're breeding bad habits, blah, 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 blah. I was actually surprisingly judgy. Pre-having a baby, I didn't realize how judgy I was until I had my own baby. Then I was like, all these things that I was like, I'm never going to do. Well, now I'm doing them. So what's the most awkward thing your kid has ever said or done in public? He took a shit in a ball pit once. Does that count? Luckily, I wasn't there. Oh, thank God. He took a poo in a ball pit when he was with Zach. Zach took him to Gruffalo World. Here in Blackpool, we have Gruffalo World. It's just like a soft play, but themed Gruffalo. They got Room on the Broom, all those little characters. And the ball pit is right at the back of the room. And Zach's in the ball pit with him. And our son, he has a poo face. So when he's doing a poo, you know, it's kind of like his eyes, his eyebrows come together, and his mouth goes a little flat and his face goes red. He's like... So when he does a turd, you know about it. And they were laughing, having fun. And then suddenly the poo face comes on and Zach's like, oh, shit. Luckily, there's no other kids in the ball pit at the time. There's piss all over the ball pit. And as far as I know, Zach just does an Irish exit out that fucking place. There's no spare clothes. So he puts Woody in his jumper and just gets the fuck out. And that is why you should never, ever, ever put your child in a ball pit. I don't know if Zach told someone about that. Do you know what I mean? I don't know if Zach let anyone know there was piss in that ball pit. And there's other kids sloshing around in the balls. Woo, having so much fun. And then they get sick and you wonder why. What's the weirdest advice another parent has ever given you? Did you try it? It's maybe not weird, but definitely the worst advice I was ever given was not from a parent. It was from a random girl that follows me. I posted a video of me like pretending to eat Woody's toes, right? Just as you do, classic parent baby moment. It's when he was very young. And a girl got in my DMs and she was like, hey, Miranda, no judgment, no hate, love your content. But I'm actually a child educator. Yeah, I work in child education. I work in nurseries, and you might want to hold off on pretending to bite your child's toes. Yeah, you might want to hold off doing that because actually in my nursery, there was one child that was biting the other children. And when we spoke to the parents about it, they said, well, we do pretend to bite his toes. So maybe that's why he's learnt it. And we were like, yeah, probably. So now I actually tell parents to not do that. Better safe than sorry. Anyway, lots of love. How am I meant to give birth to this little porky little prawn? And then their toes are just there. They're ripe for the picking. And you want me to not bite them? That's just not going to happen. Have you seen my child's toes? They are delicious. I find that a lot of the advice that child educators give me isn't actually, it's not applicable to parents because your child is completely different with you at home than they are with a child educator. Listen, sweet cheeks, you might work in child education, but I live in it. All right, so don't try and tell me to not eat my child's toes because those things are fucking delicious and I'm going to have a little nibble. Have you ever used your kid as an excuse to get out of something? Spill. Going back to work? Does that count? No, honestly, literally everything. It's the only reason I had children, so I didn't have to go to things. And it's the best excuse ever, because what can people say? Thing is, though, you've got to use it wisely. You cannot use it too often, because then people get wise to you. And they also don't like you. They're like, oh, she's so obsessed with her kids. She never comes out and plays with us anymore. Meh, 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 meh. So you have to use it wisely, so people really think, whoa, this is serious, okay? How has your sex life changed since becoming a parent? I have had a sexual awakening since having a baby. I am a raging horn dog. I do wonder, at what point does it become a condition? Is there a malfunctioning in my inner workings? What is going on? Because I am insatiable. Pre-having a baby, my sex drive was actually quite low. I don't want to bring the mood down, but I was very squeamish about my body. I really wasn't into being touched. I have had a lot of sexual trauma, and it really turned me off intimacy. I didn't really like Zach touching me or going down on me, and I found sex just very uncomfortable. I went on a long journey to sort of heal my relationship with sex and my body, and just to feel a bit more connected with myself again. And then we started trying for a baby, and it was something about trying for a baby and maybe the timing of me going on a bit of a healing journey, that's something to do with the purpose of baby sex just sent my fanny into overdrive. So yeah, since having a baby, my sex drive has absolutely stayed up there. I would say, no day sex, which is kind of annoying, and no morning sex. But to be honest, Zach can't have morning sex because his legs don't work afterwards. He has to get blood in his legs before he can have sex. He's going to be so embarrassed that I just said that. Maybe I'll cut that out. I'll ask him. So yeah, we can't really have morning sex anyway, but I would say probably once you have a baby, morning sex is an absolute rarity. Our sex now hasn't necessarily changed, apart from we just have more of it. And I would say I feel sexier. So yeah, our sex hasn't necessarily changed, but we do have more of it. And I do feel I feel sexier since becoming a mum. And I feel really grateful for that, because I know a lot of women after pregnancy and birth, but their confidence just plummets. But there's something about there's something about birth and pregnancy just made me feel really sexy. Maybe it's just made me feel super feminine. I don't know. But I feel I was able to tap into something that I wasn't able to previously. Oh, and absolutely zero nipple play. Since breastfeeding for 2 years, if Zach even touches my nipples now, I hate it. The word daddy does not get thrown around anymore. And the fact that anyone is into mother and son play, sorry, I cannot fathom it. Listen, I'm into some fucked up shit, but that is just one step. That's one step too far for me. What's some controversial ways that you parent? I don't think I am controversial. I don't enforce manners. I would guess that might be controversial, because, I do hear a lot say, what do you say? What do you say? Please? Okay. And now what do you say? What do you say? I'll take it back if you don't say it. The kid says, thank you. I hate that interaction. I hate it. I understand that when we're out in public, we feel the pressure, and part of being a good person is manners. But I just think, just let them live. Just let them live. They'll learn manners vicariously through you, because you are being polite to them. And then they see you being polite to other people and other people being polite to you. And so they'll pick it up, just like they do with literally everything. I've never made my son say thank you, please, or sorry, but he does all three of them. And I think that just goes to show, you don't have to have that demeaning interaction with this child. You give them something. What do you say? What do you say? It's just horrible. It's a horrible thing to say to a child, and it's a horrible way to talk to someone. And, if an adult was speaking to me like that, I ordered a coffee and they gave me the coffee and I took it and they took it back and they were like, what do you say? What do you say? I'd take that fucking coffee and I'd say, fuck off. That's what I say. I just think people, they talk down to children because they feel like they can. And actually, we need to just talk to them like we talk to our friends and our spouses, people that we love and respect. I guess homeschooling is quite controversial. But again, like I'm in a bubble where I just see people homeschooling all the time. So to me, it's not controversial, but to other people, it might be. And again, whenever you talk about homeschooling online, so many people come to your DMs as if you are like attacking them for not homeschooling or like judging them for putting their kid in school. That's not it at all. I understand that school is there to play like an important role in society to enable parents who want to help them work. Yeah, it's always funny when you talk about homeschooling online because you get so much hate. You know, I had one girl comment on one of my videos recently about homeschooling. She was like, you think that you can teach a child what I have gone to university for 5 years to study? You think you can teach someone that? Well, yeah, I actually do. With no disrespect, I do think I can teach my child that I know one-on-one and spend all day with. I do think I can teach them that. Like, if I can't teach my child how to read, we've got bigger issues. I should be able to teach a child how to read. And there's nothing a quick Google can't help me out on. What people love to say is, you know, what about the things that you can't teach them? The things that, you know, science or maths. Well, you know, if I can't teach something, then I guess I'll hire a tutor. But I feel like I should be able to teach a 5-year-old how to do basic maths. I'll be a bit embarrassed if I can't. And also something that I would like to say, because I don't feel like I say this enough, is it might not work. Cool, into school you go. It might not work. He might hate it. He might be begging me, Mum, can I go to school? Yeah. The moment he doesn't like it, if he wants to go to school, well, we'll look into schools. And also, I'm talking a lot of shit about something that I've not actually done yet. But in my mind, with a child, every day's a school day. You know, I organise little activities for us to do, educational stuff. We read loads of books together. We watch videos. We learn stuff together all the time. And so in my mind, it's just going to be an extended version of what we're already doing. But hey, I might be eating my own fucking words in a few years. I'll let you know. I guess a controversial thing that I do or don't do is I don't take my child to lots of like classes. I think there's like a big pressure when you have a child to sign them up to swimming from birth and like baby Mozart classes and tumble tots and like all this stuff that's actually really expensive and not that enjoyable for the parents. Now listen, if you're the kind of parent that loves going to these classes, again, no judgment. You fucking enjoy your baby Mozart classes. Enjoy them. Messy Monkeys, enjoy it. I used to love going to Messy Monkeys with Woody. I think we put so much pressure on like socialization from like birth. And if you don't socialize your child every fucking day from birth, then you're going to fuck them up in some way. I just don't know if I agree with that. I just think we put too much pressure on, one, the parents, but two, the children to be independent. And I'm in no rush to make my child independent from me. Like he's a 3-year-old, and I'm hoping the way that I parent will make a securely attached child. And so he finds socializing fun and easy because he's securely attached. And again, this is not me saying if you enroll your child in all these baby toddler classes, then they're not going to be securely attached. But it just means like, I don't think that's the reason. For if your child is good at socializing, I don't think it's necessarily dependent on you socializing them in all these baby classes from the get-go. You can have a perfectly unsociable child that has gone to all those baby classes and a perfectly sociable baby that hasn't gone to many of those baby toddler classes. And I just think, I don't know, it's about the way that you actually raise them and spend time with them in the house, and that, you know, what you do with them the majority of the time that counts, rather than what you do with them on a Tuesday morning at 10:30 a.m. Do you know what I mean? I just don't think it's that important. What is your guilty pleasure that you indulge in when your son is asleep? I'm a stoner mum. I love weed. I don't smoke it that often, especially because Zach doesn't smoke, but I love being stoned, and I will just put it out there, I am not a capable stoner. You know, some people can get stoned and they can like clean the house or like, you know, write a book or go and train, go to BJJ and fucking train and spar or go for a run. I'm not a capable stoner. I lose control of my limbs. So, you know, I can't really be a parent if I'm stoned. I can't even tune in and look after myself. I forget that I need to drink water, let alone look after my child. Back in lockdown, Zach used to love going on a run stoned, and he told me once, oh, you need to try it. It's amazing. And so I smoked a joint and I got my fucking running gear on and I ran down the road and I kept tripping up. I was losing control of my legs. After about 200 meters, I just turned around, walked home, stopped off at the corner shop for some snacks and went home, took my running gear off and sat on the sofa and ate crisps for the rest of the night. You know, I don't have many guilty pleasures, but chocolate is one of them, I guess. And I'm not bringing out the nice chocolates while Woody's awake. He can have the cheap shit from Aldi, all right? He's not gonna appreciate Hotel Chocolat. You know, occasionally I get treated to Alain Ducasse, which is my favourite chocolatier. If you are in London or Paris, actually, get Alain Ducasse. It's such a treat. And if I have Alain Ducasse in the house, ain't no way I am giving that boy Alain Ducasse. I would rather go outside and find a dog shit on the pavement and feed that to him than give him my Alain Ducasse. And that is just the kind of mum I am. What's one parenting myth you think is total bullshit that no one talks about? That you should prescribe to like a parenting ideology, I just don't agree with. You know, listen, I think of parenting like I do cooking. It's mostly vibe-based. Just feel the vibes and go with that. I don't judge anyone that is new to it for reading the manuals. If you need a recipe, then that's fine. But after, you know, you've read a few books, you've had a bit of time on the job, I just think sometimes you need to know when to put the books down and just tune in to like you. Okay, what do I want to eat? Oh, I don't feel like these spices in my curry. I feel like these spices instead. A little bit more salt here. I'm not going to put 2 onions in. I'm going to put 1 onion. And parenting is the same in my mind. Like, you know, when you got that fresh baby, read all the fucking manuals if you feel like you need it. But then after that, put the manuals down and just look at the situation and think, you know what? The book says to feed every 4 hours. I fed an hour ago, but the baby's still screaming. Should I just try the boob again? You know, if I was reading all the books all the time, and I don't think I would be tuning in to my actual child and me and our circumstances. Take what you want and leave what you don't want. I'm a big believer that everything we need to raise a good human is inside of us. But society will make us feel like we don't know anything, and it'll make us doubt ourselves. So parenting can often feel very unnatural for a lot of people, when really it should be like the most natural thing in the world. That's not a very funny answer, is it? But it's just the truth.
Next one.
This is our last question, guys. What's the most surprising way motherhood has changed your relationship with Zach? It's hard to explain, but I feel like ever since we've had a child, everything we do just has more purpose. Like everything, we're just driven forward by like a bigger force. It's a force that's bigger than us. You know, everything that we do is communal. Everything we have is communal. There's no his and hers, mine and yours. It's just the family. And everything that we do is now for our children. I think it's definitely given us more respect for each other's differences. Like we are really sitting in our gender roles right now in our relationship, and we're really enjoying it. Like Zach is the provider, the very traditional male role. And don't get me wrong, I probably wear the trousers in the relationship. You know, I am the primary parent, and I'm housekeeping and I'm cooking and I'm cleaning and I'm raising the child. And yeah, it feels we've got more respect for the typical gender roles. I would say one massive difference in our relationship is, you know, pre-Woody, we were both each other's number ones. But now, since having a baby, I am still his number one, but he's my number two, and he has to be. I wonder how it's changed it negatively. Let me think. I am a snappy bitch. Gotta say, I've got less patience for Zach nowadays. Like if he grates on me a lot more than he ever did pre-children. You know, he's goofy. He's like the fun husband. He's always having a laugh, always joking on Zach. And pre-baby, loved it. I had patience for it. I was goofing around, I was a goofball too. But now, since being a mom, and again, he's my number 2, I've got this other thing to think about. And, you know, sometimes Zach is goofing around, but Woody needs my attention. And Zach's like, hello, I'm being a goofball. And I'm like, shut the fuck up. I can't deal with you right now. And on that note, guys, we have reached the end of our questions. So we're going to leave it there. I hope you liked this different style of episode. We are back to our normal dilemmas next week. So get ready for that. And as always, if you have any dilemmas, please send them in. New segment starting next week, guys. I would love to hear your opinion more on the stuff that we talk about. So each week I'm going to be posting a little parenting question over on the Nappy Hour Instagram. So make sure every Monday you go and head over and engage with that question, just so I can hear your thoughts and opinions on things. If you have not rated and reviewed this podcast, please go and do it. I am so flipping close to 200 reviews and we are still at 5 stars. Can you believe it? Actually, I fucking can. I put my blood, sweat and tears into this motherfucking thing, all right? So if you have not rated it yet, which I know a lot of you have not, then go and give it 5 stars. Thank you very much. I'll see you next week. I love ya. Goodbye.